Hello everyone, today I'm going to go through the game between Praggnanandhaa and Vishy Anand, played in the Tata style India Blitz. You may have seen this online, if not I'll post a link below in the description. It's quite an amazing Blitz game, and in this game Praggnanandhaa is white, playing the icon of India, Vishy Anand, who plays black. So I'm just going to get straight into it. Praggnanandhaa played e4 and Vishy played c5, and we get into a dragon setup after d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4. So knight f6, knight c3, a6, a3, g6, and here Praggnanandhaa played bishop e2. Vishy played bishop g7, bishop e3 from Pragg, and castles queen d2 and b5 from Vishy. Here white now decides to castle queenside, so we know what's up here. Black's going to attack on the queen side, and white will attack on the king side by pushing all the available pawns. Bishop b7, f3 to support the e4 pawn, and now knight bd7 from Vishy, and h4 is played. Here Vishy could have played h5, but in another game it went, this is a line, bishop h6 could be played, rook c8 and g4. Here bishop takes h6, queen takes, rook takes on c3. This is a typical sacrifice in this line, because after b takes c3 comes queen a5, and now here white could play knight f5, after g takes, queen takes a3 and king b1. It's actually winning for white, because now the rook can move to g1, check, and there's barely any way to defend it, so white is clearly winning in this position. For this reason Vishy didn't play h5, he played knight to e5 instead. White continues the attack with bishop h6. This is typical in these type of games. You want to put your bishop on h6 and launch the h and g pawns up to unleash the rook on h1. Bishop h6, bishop takes, queen takes, and now rook c8. And here Pragg actually missed the move h5, which is it's an absolute beast of a move. Compared to the game, this extra tempo counts for a lot, because after, let's say, rook takes c3 here, h takes g6, white's actually winning, because after knight takes g6 comes knight f5, unstoppable. If f takes g6, then comes knight to e6, unstoppable, because the queen would come to g7 and the queen's also attacked at the same time. If rook c8, just move the rook back, then knight f5 comes again, and white is in a really good position. Another alternative is playing queen a5, and the game could continue with f4 from white, and after rook takes c3, h takes g6, rook fc8, maybe f takes e5. This variation is quite complicated, but after b takes a3, queen takes a3 and king b1. White actually starts winning, because after g takes f7, king takes f7, bishop h5 comes in with check, and after knight takes, queen e6 check, king g7, and now taking the rook. The smoke has cleared and white is now come out on top. He has two rooks and a relatively safe position. So h5 was the best move here, but it is still rather complicated. So h5 here is the best move, and one that Pragg actually missed. Instead he played g4 in this position, and now Anand can do the typical sacrifice, takes on c3 with the rook, b takes c3, and queen a5, and Anand is just in time to create some counterplay. Knight f5 was played, threatening mate on g7, so g takes f5, g takes f5, and now the g file is opened up for the attack, but Anand is just in time, plays queen takes c3, and after rook d g1 he can now play knight g6. Perhaps a better move here was knight f g4, because if f takes, then bishop e4. Anand is just winning this position because the queen is attacking on c2 and also attacking the rook on h1. Knight g6 is still okay though. After f takes g6, f takes, white actually made a mistake here. h5 is questionable. Bishop d3 was another way to continue, because after rook c8 and king d1, maybe rook c5, the game still continues, and it's still quite a complex and even position. Instead, h5 comes up against this move, bishop takes e4, threatening mate on c2, and now white takes, and queen a1 check. The king moves to the d file, and here knight takes e4 and king e3, and the king is going for a little walk. Queen to c3, check, and here if king takes e4, white loses, because after d5, king takes d5, rook d8, the king slowly gets mated in a little lawnmower, and queen d6 is mate. So for this reason, after queen c3, bishop d3 is forced, and now queen d2 check. The king is forced to take the knight, and now black can now take the white queen. Queen takes h6. And here Vishy just shows some good technique. After h takes, queen f4, the king is forced to move up. h6, because black doesn't want to take that pawn, it doesn't want to unleash those two rooks or the bishop. g7, black's going to use white's own pawn to defend himself, so he just simply moves the rook to c8 and starts getting a few mating nets. The king is forced to move to e6, going for another little walk. And now d5, threatening to play rook c6 check. Rook g6 is played, and rook c6 check is played. King e7, and here Vishy opted to simplify, but however there's an easier way to win in a couple of moves. He missed queen f7 here, check. King d8 and just rook c7 just wins on the spot. There's no way to stop the mate. If bishop f5, for instance, just queen e7. But Vishy opted to simplify, played rook takes g6, bishop takes, and now the rest is just a matter of technique, because king takes g7, and it's just a matter of pushing this h-pawn. Rook g1 check. b4 just simplifying. King d7, and now we see black start to move up the board. Queen g4, and now he starts launching his pawn up the board. A few checks. Rook e7 check, king f8. There's no way for white to win this. And h2, and Pragg decided to resign. So that was a game between probably the future world champion and the legendary Viswanathan. And it was just a simple move that Pragg missed, so he should have played h5, and white is winning quite heavily in this position. Black isn't in time to save himself from the attack. So all in all, this was a very interesting blitz game. Again, I'll post a link below, and hope you watch it and enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe for more in the future.